All right, everybody, let's get right to it. Big show today for a Tuesday. How's everyone doing? The obvious, right? The obvious thing we need to talk about today is the free trial. Get 2 weeks to Harmonic Pattern Collection. Send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Yeah, maybe I get that out of the way. Okay, let's do that. Get that out of the way. What's going on, everybody in the chat? Great to see everyone here today. Bitcoin, for a second, was at 69 and change, rejected for $5,000, and be grateful. Be grateful here. Amazing. A lot to talk about today on the show. Obviously, how are we going to treat this now? Where's the B point? Where's the 886? How's that going to work out for us? Is there going to be any B point? That's the question. Hold on one second. Let me remove this. I don't know why that's in the way. Take this back out. Thank you. Just getting settled in. Welcome, everybody. Great to see everyone in the chat here today. Vlad, what's up? Jacob, Hawk, Cactus Leo, James, Victoria, as always, Arun, Brain Freeze. How are you guys doing today? What do you think? I mean, is anyone holding Bitcoin in here? Anyone have any? Because at this point, we are on track to do exactly the larger scenario that we've talked about. I think what you're looking at right now, this rejection, first rejection really that we've seen all year of this magnitude. And it's probably just, one other step in the process. The real question is, okay, how soon are we going to the 1618? So that's all I care about now. And the 886 level at 63,000 right there. We're taking that out now, and we could have a rejection mostly at the 10, but it's taking out the W formation. So it's, you get any kind of a singular close above this high, this current high, right at 69,000, that sets the larger move to the 1618. So the thing to consider, though, just again for numbers' sake, this is an interesting characteristic of this type of a B point, and it's not common. And I do want to kind of highlight why this is so critical, why that 886 on Bitcoin at 63,000 really meant something for the larger possibilities. There's 886. Well, it's not it. And in most cases, yeah, it's like a 1-0. It really is a 1-0. This is a special phenomenon. This is a unique deep crab, if you will. And let's see how it plays out. But just so we have the measurements, so we understand what are minimums here. Just like a trailing 382. I'm not saying it's going here. I'm just saying a trailing 382 is 48.3. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm saying just keep that in the back of your mind, that if this last scratch of a possibility to be some kind of W structure by holding at the 1.0 were to happen, what could that be? And what would that be? And I don't think that's actually the situation anymore, because this week took out your 886. And we talked about, the fact that we're hitting it in strong manner last week, and that mattered. That the fact that you just annihilated that level at 62, 63 on a super strong candle, and then did another candle this week. All right, that's impressive, even with this current $5,000 pullback unfolding. That's what it looks like on a 60-minute. So where are the opportunities? They are still on your 4-hour time frame going forward. Don't lose sight of that. Okay, we would absolutely looking for 4-hour oversold opportunities within this uptrend. What was it? Well, our last HSI was 68.5. But the only thing I'm really concerned with now that we have taken out that 886, your 886 level, by the way, this is your 886, doesn't care for it. And then again, anything above that 69 and change sets it off. I think it's already set off, but we know, and we have talked about this 1618 price expansion measurement as a level to consider just logically. If we are going to ride some kind of allocation cycle on Bitcoin, and every cycle before that has gone to all-time new highs, and this is following a reasonably predictable model, or at least everyone is following that model, then a 1.618 growth, natural growth iteration from how we look at harmonic patterns, framework propositions is a minimum. It's a minimum. So the fact that we're at an 886, the same way we took a little spanking at 48,000, okay, at the 1.0, but it's just one more step in the process. At this point going forward, give me pullbacks, give me opportunities to capture this acceleration that's unfolding, because it's happening. I mean, it's really happening. It's on a new uptrend. It's on a new, you're no longer on that lower trend channel or this trend channel. You're on this trend channel. So as we get into the summer, post-halving phenomenon, of course, you're going to have reactions along the way, but the fact that we're here before the halving, this was something I thought could happen maybe by the halving, maybe end of the month. Here we are, 5th day of March, and it is already been taken out. You're challenging all-time highs. You're going to have multiple shots at this 70,000 level. You'll probably get hit down a couple times. But the larger dynamics are set in motion. Again, here's like a quarterly chart. That's essentially been the plan. And I just think it's pretty interesting how this thing has blasted off. Already there. In this instance, this cycle, it's doing things it hasn't done before. So for that, it's impressive. And again, a lot of people are asking, well, seems pretty strong, and it seems fairly early in the game. I mean, what does that mean? That means that there's a lot of strength behind this move. All right? It definitely is something I have been talking about. We've been framing out the strategy since last summer. We have been talking about the fact that this is stronger than maybe what we thought could happen. It's happening faster, and we have to go with it. So the larger assumption for the cycle has always been that 1618. Take it in steps. You're at the 1.0. I mean, that's what it is. I don't even really use the 1.0 unless it was a shark. Unless that was a shark pattern, and it's not. I mean, roughly, maybe we could say it's something like this. Maybe you could kind of trace out a shark pattern. And again, connecting dots is a way to try to at least entertain harmonic possibilities. This is how we did it in the early days, calculating by hand. But a 1.0 retest, this BC would be a big 1618 up there. But anything that would hit up there would be temporary. That's on a weekly chart. You're overbought, sure. HSI's hitting now, amplified, has gone to new highs, but still, you're weeks away before you could even roll out of the zone if you're going to do that. So really impressive stuff. If it's you're 64.6 now, you were 69,000. What, 2 hours ago? Not even. What was it? Yeah, 2 hours ago. We were 69,000. So what? Big stuff to come later this year. So I love these kind of environments because then you really get into speculative possibilities. And that's where you make your biggest gains. In my experience with the way markets go, it seems to me the markets distribute their gains unevenly throughout the year. obvious times where, the whole November to May cycle seasonality is always one clear example of, where there's disproportionate gains to be received. But even year over year, say if this was 2022, market's going down, sure, you could go short. But when broader allocation is happening, markets are popping, price discovery is happening, those are when your bigger possibilities are there. Look, just ask Green Satoshi Coin. Okay? And I said this last time. I said, I'm never missing this ever again. I caught this stupid thing. All right? Yeah, I'll show you what I did on it. It was, I really just kind of chucking some money at it. But Green Satoshi Coin, that's where we're at. We're at free internet money stage with Green Satoshi Coin going 14x within a couple of days, 2 days. But you go with this, all right? And you're looking to capture big rides like that. I would. Jonathan says, when in doubt, watch the old streams. If you're new here, please go catch up of the last 2 weeks and you see how many things have played out. The key that I'm trying to really get into is learn from mistakes. I've been a little dismissive on stuff like Floki, Inu, Baby, Shib coin, but look at what they had. I mean, here's Floki, and I know I brought this thing up. Floki was this daily, where was it? It was a daily bat pattern right there. Maybe it was a 4 hour. It was a 4 hour bat pattern. There it was. And I know I covered this back in February. We had a few of these. Right at 300ths of a thousandth of a whatever. That's a 5x, folks. 6x. But that shows you what's possible. And for me, light switch goes on. Why? Because price recovery has begun. And remember what I've been saying about these metrics. You can do them on all your favorite crypto, these meme coin, total nonsense money pools have popped. There's your 382 price recovery example. Do you come back down and then go again? Something like that? Definitely consider what has happened in this space as light switch going on. The players are coming into this and they want to run it. It takes a lot of money to produce a candle like that. And these guys are now fully on, ready to run this puppy. This was actually, check it out, this makes sense, a 50% level for a bat. And this is also something else to be considering going forward. When you see a big moon phase like that, we need a 382 minimum. We almost got it. But that could set up your eventual bat breakout move to the 886 on, yes, I'm saying it, Floki. Doge did it. Shib. I've been avoiding them. You hear my voice when someone asks me to bring these things up. Get over it. Okay? Because you capture some kind of speculation move like that. And for goodness sakes, people, if you're in a move and at 3-4 X's in 2 days, you're looking to take profits. You're not holding. I threw a chunk of money down there, a few 100,000 of coins. That is like 10. It was like, what was it? It was like 10K, and it went up to 14 cents. When it was more than doubled, I was ready to bail. And that's how I think we need to continue thinking about what's currently happening. Here's SHIB, right to the 50% level. Not a surprise. Okay, where's the 382 pullback? You're actually already at a 382 pullback. You can't really see it on SHIB because it's within the bar. But this is how we should be thinking. Maybe 618. And these are price recovery candidates. Really quick, I wanted to I want to highlight something for folks. First, get with the software. So a bunch of new people, obviously new crypto people, asking questions of how to get connected with the software. Send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. And then the big March crypto pre-halving webinar. All right, that will be the 21st at 10 a.m. Okay? Crypto Harmonic Pattern Opportunities pre-halving webinar, March 21st. And how you get in on that is you either upgrade your subscription, you purchase the software, or you subscribe to the website. Take the trial first on the software, people, but I think it's really important that we do our third installment here on our crypto webinars. If you're interested, you can watch the December session. I think that's in the basic members library. And we get updated before the halving. All right? Get with that, especially new folks. Oh, also, for the new folks, listen, basic members page is where you want to go. Become a basic member. You can try any of the software and then get the books and the videos all in here. Please just get up to date with the terminology, the patterns, the measurements, how do we look at things, type 1s, type 2s, all of the framework considerations that we're discussing. Let's keep it going. Ethereum, all right, remarkable. Was 3,800. Remember last week, 2 weeks ago, 2,200. So let that be a lesson. Along the way, as we continue to go, we're not going to ignore these daily high-level oversold triggers. That's what they are. Stay with it. Absolutely something that we will get more daily opportunities even. But the HSI has been remarkable, to say the least. We didn't have harmonic strength index. We didn't have yellow dots last cycle. Not to this degree. We had HSI. We didn't have the yellow dot. Right now, Ethereum at 36.38. Massively, obviously overbought, but you have to go to like the weekly. You set really new records for overbought levels, super strong. Weekly HSI is now overbought again. But structurally, the only thing you're really concerned with is a retest eventually incoming of the 886. It's, you can trace this kind of a thing out. Bat pattern 45, excuse me, yeah, above 4,500 is that 886. We talked about why the 618 at 3,400 was so critical, and now tell me what it's doing. Look at that level. Look at that bar. There's your 618 level. Sorry, 618 is one of the primary harmonic levels, harmonic retracements that we consider. It should not get blown out like that. Like you see a strong candle, it closes through the number, closes above the number, continues above the number. It's, respect. That is just a larger kind of breakout where it's not a 618. Did we even scratch the 786? No. But all of those numbers are higher. I'm going to stay with the 886. I'm going to say 4,500. We're going to want to make that run sooner than later. So, it's not going to be tomorrow And, if we pull back 10%, don't be surprised. But within the larger scope of the way things are developing, happening quickly, 886 is the only thing left. That's it. Not much beyond that. And I said all along, take it in chunks. Okay? Take it in chunks. Just like we've done with Bitcoin. And it probably, what's our next 4-hour oversold? Can we get a 4-hour oversold trigger? Last one that we had was right at the end of February, and that was down at 33.50. I will say this, look, it's making Harmonic Strength Index look real easy. HSI, Harmonic Strength Index, that's the indicator, harmonic indicator we use with patterns. And with what we have, a signal there, we're detecting the small pullbacks that are your important continuation signals. Hey, who's logging into my account? So look for the next one. That's I don't. We want to overcomplicate it? Not really. And yeah, remember that. Can we go back to the end of January, early February? Anybody want to go back there? Give me a 2 million green Satoshi coin, please. It was really unbelievable. We're at the green Satoshi coin phase of the market already. I think that's remarkable. Hold on one second. Couple more. Let's get the other big ones out of the way. All of them are impressive.
Order filled.
How about Cardano? Hit 80 cents, right? 80. Remember we were talking about it? Not only, well, look at that crab. 45, 25. So what can Cardano do? What's the possibilities on Cardano? Because we go back to these kind of histories, these long-term charts with these bases, they look really strong. I mean, they're beautiful charts. So recovery targets are not a stretch, especially now. I mean, they seem crazy at 25 cents, but the 382 still on Cardano, 130, 135. What's that tell us? Cardano still has ways to go. It's that simple. We're doing just 382 recovery moves at this point. That's the next step in the process. Few more. The likes of like Binance Coin. Where'd it go? Binance Coin 400. Okay. It's despite everything, Binance Coin is still, just mildly putting in a double bottom here. Weekly chart. There's a butterfly here depending on our feed. Yeah, it should be here. I think it's just running super slow.
Order filled.
Here we go. 1 second.
Order filled.
Here's the other one. So Binance Coin all the way right now at the 382.
Order filled.
380. Busting through. 50% level, 440. I think these are easy targets. The interesting thing to see with Binance Coin and others, again, we're starting to get this thing. You're starting to get the bat action magnet move phenomenon on the weekly, no less. So that's your B point. That was the first move. You're breaking out, hitting the obvious resistance, but it's not going to take much to shoot that gap. This is kind of where we are within the development of that move. Look for that. I think even when we pause here for a week or two, anything above that 430, 440 range. This is a lot like Bitcoin Cash, folks, which is, you got to start looking at these kind of things for the bigger possibilities. Big thrust, that's right off the low, off of a massive base. Another thrust, pause, sure. But what's the bigger possibility? Again, your 382 move, recovery move is still 680, 685, all-time 886. Let's just entertain, cycle recovery thoughts. Like this could be MicroStrategy down there at 400. And so these seemingly large moves are not that. They're actually a significant sign of something more to come. That's where we're at with this. You're step by step. You've kind of gotten out of the low. You're getting out of the holes now. It's time to start attacking price recovery targets. And Bitcoin Cash, I'm not even assessing like larger possibilities. There's the butterfly I had brought up before. Again, another ugly pattern. Algos were picking it up. I think a target 2 at 595. Not crazy. No HSI up there yet. But there's a whole lot of things going on here it's not only doing what we've been projecting and outlining in terms of how we measure levels and the patterns, but the possibilities, the price recovery possibilities are not crazy propositions, even though in a lot of cases they're still a ways off. That's Bitcoin Cash. The other one is Litecoin. So Litecoin was above 90. As for all the fanfare, Litecoin has significant potential with this kind of basing formation. We broke that downtrend really back there. Even if we were to take something like that intermediate high, there it is. We could do something like this. If we're going to bust out of this range like all the others have done, again, looking at how a lot of these have come off the lows, they've got them destroyed. They did their 80 to 95% correction. Then they put in a range for 2 years. And now a lot of these are starting the breakout. Just starting in terms of a new cycle, price recovery. Let's take it in minimums. We don't have to go crazy. 382s. All-time 382 price recovery bounce, even in some kind of just one-off move. 185. Those are the kind of targets that once you start clearing these levels, getting out of the hole, that's Litecoin. It's starting to realize everything that it's always talked about. It's just that the last time people kind of gazed and wondered at Litecoin as like some shiny object like Bitcoin was back in 2020. And Litecoin was one of the first ones that I actually ever bought. I think I bought it like $23. It was that was 2018 cycle. But there's a lot of talk. There's always been a lot of narrative. I hate to use that word, but it's true. Around Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, their association to Bitcoin, their ability to produce to process payments, all of that off of Bitcoin. So, okay, run with that narrative. I'm fine with that. But let's now look at the technicals for those trigger points where this stuff starts to move. And again, we have valid arguments with this kind of move, that the move up above 85 out of that hole at 70, because remember, we had a whole bunch of patterns down there. Remember these patterns on Litecoin? It was perfect, deep crab down there. All at $61. So it's not like we didn't have patterns. And this is also something to consider, folks, of the argument of, hey, my favorite crypto is doing a 5x and my Litecoin still hasn't moved off of the $60, $65 area that I've been trying to, buy this on. I've said this all along. It's going to be an unfair, unequal cycle. You're going to have to be patient. And Litecoin now, I think it's yet another kind of first thrust, but wake up. You have my attention now, Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if we see these things trading, continuing what started last week. For Bitcoin Cash, it started a long time ago. What's up, Paris? Paris Fisher PGA in the house. No, we'll get to MicroStrategy in a second. That too has done exactly what we said it would do. 886, 1200. Let me wrap up on this and we'll go to those. Few others. Like, let's look at, because everyone's raging about it. So the Pepes and the Flokies and of course the Doge, that's speculation fever right there. It's beautiful. That's what we want. Hold on one second. I got to put in a stop. Good. Okay. Use the range. You guys know what I'm going to say. Okay, look at the total range. I'm trying to get the best chart. Yeah, there's the last cycle. Well, let me get Pepe. Let me get a longest chart possible of Pepe. KuCoin. Does anybody have an explanation of why this thing popped? I got filled out. One. Doesn't matter. I mean, go to the low to high. High to low. Okay. W framework. Well, is it an 886? Could be. That's a starting point, but blow right through. So crab 1618.
Order filled.
That's where you are right.
Filled.
That's where you are right now. It actually went to a little above 2.0. But even something like that, come on back. 382, 50%. Like, there's a 382 on Pepe. A little bit lower, 50%, something like that. We'll get caught up on that. Okay, we get a nice pullback here. Again, I think it's opportunities, and we're seeing it this morning. So that's nice. Couple more. Because I do agree there's things that have popped that are showing signs of where they're doing a lot more, have the possibility to do a lot more going forward. Sorry, skips me. Where's the other one? Let's do a quick look at totals. Totals have been really helpful in the last several weeks because the levels and their ability to take out the levels have helped us pinpoint this acceleration. And I don't think that stops. I mean, here's your weekly chart. How do you feel about the 886 now on total? Because we knew that the 618 was a major test. Once it violated that, like here, all-time 618 was there at 2.13, and it just blew through. Remember, 382 was what we analyzed first at 160. And we said above 160, there's nothing until you get to that 618, which was 2.13, and now 886. So still a little higher. 2.7 trillion for total index, which links up with what we've been saying. Even we were saying total 3. Again, look for that. It ran, it hit target 1. That's why all those T coins did the move they did. So I'm watching this. But tell me what happens with this weekly HSI. Does that continue? If we continue next week, then we can continue and probably go to target 2 now. If not, you're going to pause for a few weeks. That's fine. But we're still looking for that eventually to go to target 2. Yeah, I mean, it's just so there. Even look at the total DeFi. This is such a beautiful total DeFi index. This may be the most harmonic of all the indices on this cycle. And you are well past target 1. I think this has got 134 billion easy to go to target 2. That's still another 20-25% higher from current levels. You don't have anything yet that's confirmation. So what are some good DeFi projects? Looks like that wants to continue to go. It's great stuff. I mean, it really, again, not surprised, but it's happening. Just happening sooner. And so at least we're here to be in front of it. Sandbox, someone's asking for that. JG, what's up? And I'm going to have to democratize requests soon with some kind of tip jar. Several people have asked me why I don't do it. There's reasons, but I will figure it out. Right, Dustin? Dustin's in here. He's going to help me figure it. You already did. I looked at it yesterday. We'll get it going. But we will just keep as is for now. But I'll get that set up in the next couple of sessions. But Sandbox, I pretty much go off of what are the patterns, most immediate patterns that in all of what I'm going through are presenting themselves. It was that bat pattern at 43 cents, now 70. But the real takeaway here is that these kind of patterns, the high level stuff, one, they're still happening, and two, where they're happening is usually the important continuation. So if you miss the first from 25 to 50 or 60, here's another shot. Write it back up, and you go to the weekly. Has Metaverse even done a run? Because look at that. Patterns looking left. Sandbox on the weekly. Tell me where target 1 is. Greg's asking inverse head and shoulders. Probably. But more importantly, we have major levels that haven't even gotten back up into their zone yet. Sandbox might have just given you one of the sweetest entries last week or 2 weeks ago. Or when was that? Oh, end of January. So it was a month ago. But there's others. There will be more. Yeah, Gala. GoldenEye's asking for Gala. That's another one. Seemed like, oh, that was just total T coin. It's never going to do anything. Why did I put any money in it? You know, because it looks like that. Because he had big patterns looking left. I own a chunk of that. You know, but am I going to get, is this going to be the, instead of a 2x or whatever currently, am I going to bust out of here and go into some kind of massive price recovery phase now, which is, I'm going to go to one that a T coin I haven't gone to in a little while, but doing exactly that. All-time 382 for Gala, folks, weekly is 33 cents. Just that would be a minimum price recovery weekly target. Just to highlight a possibility for, we get out of here, from here, you get above this static resistance at 5-6 cents. There's nothing but air up here. The other one was one of the gaming stuff, the Phantoms, the where was it? Phantom right here. Here's another one. I highlighted this daily. Big patterns at the low. And now you're just, you've broken out. You've annihilated this long-term static resistance. Look at Phantom. This is beautiful back to back. Got a butterfly right at the low and target 170. Hello. I'll stay with that. Looking great. I mean, looking great. Gala looking great, right, Justin? How long did you suffer with that one, my friend? Absolutely remarkable stuff. Got to give a shout out to the one and only Mitch Ray. He put on a historic stream yesterday, 10 or 11 hours, looking for Bitcoin to go to all-time new highs. And Mitch will be with us on Thursday. Looking forward to getting back into another conversation with Mitch Ray. Just a monster. The guy, you know, I mean, it's, you follow people like him to help you get through from A to B, from X to D on this market. So Thursday, Mitch Ray, TA. We'll talk about stuff like Phantom, like, you know, he would add some of the other things that he does. Rising three valleys, head and shoulders, spring back test of a Wyckoff spring, you know, all that kind of stuff that he does so well. And that's, for me, just give me the harmonic levels, give me some confirmation. But if we're both agreeing on stuff, it's usually a good reason why. But Phantom, and I mean, look, they're all there. The other one that's really, I know people lost faith in this puppy, but this should also be another lesson. XRP, folks, hasn't even started to do what it's going to do. And I said that it would be March, that it would be until March. And you're there. I mean, look, give it 30 days. But these kind of patterns, that kind of a wedge, just stay firm, right? Right, Dream? Let's ride this. Let's be strong with that. Weekly time frame hasn't even gotten off the base yet. Beautiful. Looking for an opportunity. That's still valid. You know, worth a few percentage. Easy. Couple more. Let's get over to yeah, okay, hey Ron, CRO. Yeah, that's again, that actually transitions into what I wanted to look at, which was Coinbase. But CRO, folks, is just yet another one. Okay, and I you know, disclaimer, I'm long a load of this. Been long a load of this. Okay, a load, and I'm looking for bigger things. It's out of sympathy for MicroStrategy and other things, but all-time 382, that's like 40 cents. And you have patterns looking left on this puppy. Remember this one of this, and this one fits into like so many of these that have the delayed takeoff. But look, you've got a big bat, you've got a smaller deep crab, and you got another bat. All of that laid down the floor at like, it was really 4 cents. First stop 30.39. What's missing? Time and your patience. Yep. I'm not, I had a few opportunities. Got to tell you, look, it's just, you got a little, pop and a sell off, but this thing is just starting to amp up. Okay. And I like the other brokers too. How about Coinbase? Let's get into those. Where's Coinbase going, guys? Because let's look at the weekly. How far have we come? Remember, we were at 40, and then we're like, got to get above 100. And we got to get above 120. We got to get above 180. Well, check it out. All-time 382 was just annihilated with last week's move. And so 50% is an easy objective. That's where you are right now. You're sitting at 235. I think this is an 886 minimum on the cycle. And that's like 393. If not more. I want to be conservative with this. So, I could easily say, it's going to go break out all-time new highs because of X, Y, or Z. No, for the plan, let's just shoot gaps. I think we can all rationalize, like, hey, we could say maybe there's an X, A, B, C, D there. That this whole IPO trading history is actually developing up into a bat pattern. And that actually this breakout is a BAM breakout above 185, 190. Shoot you up to 375, 365. These are not crazy propositions, not crazy considerations. MicroStrategy did the move to 1200. It's beautiful. There it is. 886 was 1185. I mean, let's take a breath. Let's just take one breath here. 886, what does that prove to us? It tells us the levels we are employing each step of the way are just actually lighting it up. Not only showing what markets, but where. And I mean precisely. So beyond this, you have to go back. And I talked about this possibility that on like quarterly chart, you go back to the 886 all time. That's true history for MicroStrategy. The last one was the .com, and I do think between crypto and what happened in the major markets, AI, semis, others, you have a very similar market. And so if we're going to connect dots and we clear that all-time high, we get above 1300. Again, there's nothing there. And you'll have to just entertain the possibility in the same way when we were down at 400, we were saying, maybe 1200, maybe later in the year. It's first week of March. It happened in 6 weeks. So be aware of this. The things I'm saying, The measurements I'm laying out, these kind of possibilities, the way to kind of run through things are critical to get in front of them before they happen. And that's our job for this year, because we have to take advantage of what's happening right now. Now it's almost amazingly, I thought about this just the other day, that the cycle's actually going to start running out of time. As soon as the halving begins, people are going to think about the end of the cycle. We said we had to be positioned by like Thanksgiving. We said that all last year. And now, how far is this going to run to? I mean, can this 886 thing, if this thing blows up, which it's not going to take much more than Bitcoin going to 102,000 to the 1618 with what MicroStrategy is doing, get it to 2,900. It's really phenomenal, a really interesting kind of the way the variables are coming together. But there you go. And they almost had it above. They did for a second yesterday, had it above the all-time high. Greg saying that the halving event is April 22nd. That kind of seems late, right, Greg? Don't you think? Kind of seems late to me. I think couldn't it happen it sooner, like with greater activity? Don't know. Let's take a quick look at the miners, like Riot. What happened here? Crushed. The second time they've gone up and right back down. How are you going to play that? What's the next HSI? Where is it? We're almost there. So you keep doing this move where it just jets on up, smack it down, explosion up, 2 weeks, smack it down. I kind of like what's happening here, though. The interesting thing on Riot you should look for, we have a W formation there, and now we're on the retest move. And this retest move, that's going to put in a positive bullish confirmation. This should happen probably up at above this low with HSI coming in. So it might not be today, but it could be tomorrow and pivot on Monday. Don't count the miners out just because they're doing this stuff. Providing another opportunity. And hey, if it only goes from, comes all the way back to 11 or 12 and goes back to 18, still a 50% move. And that's probably how we should treat it until it explodes on through. W on the weekly here. That's what's going on. I see. Weekly just got overbought. But your big levels are back there at like 1087, $11. And this just be a nominal test in the zone. And, patience. Patience. If you want, trade it. If you can just, you're going to hold it, don't look at it. You're going for 32 up here. That's the target with all of this larger noise, but they're banging it around. Couple more in that space. Of course, Mara, maybe Clean Spark, that had another big pattern as well. Getting smacked down, but it did a huge move, 15 to 30, so down 7. But Clean Spark's got a big pattern as well. And that one looked like it was going to do something huge, but check it out. Just 1966 is target 1. Big bat pattern here, so right, it's not ready to bust through 20. But soon. I'm not really too concerned about that. Interesting stuff, though. I mean, it's still, look, these big patterns have just yet to develop. They will, though. Keep an eye on them. I think things like Coinbase, something like that has a ways to go. I think, you'll get a pullback on Coinbase. We should be taking advantage of it. All right, I'll look at your Wolf Miner. You get 1 second at this. If it's not, then I'm out. Yeah, you can't do anything much of that. TeraWolf. I'd rather be Mara. I'd rather be the big ones. There's TeraWolf. Yeah, there's a bat pattern. Needs to be a type 2, though. 182. I'd rather stick with the big boys. You could speculate on these low floaters, but why? Let's jump really quick. Qs. What are we doing? Why are we rolling over? Why aren't we going straight to 20,000? Qs. Well, we're just stepping in the process. Remember 445? That's where we are. Up here, this 445. Okay, I know my patterns are not on at the moment. There's got to be something wrong here. Yeah, why is that turned off? Huh. Something's not right. The Qs with the weekly, yeah, it's the crab, but it's not the crab. It's the shark, and I have the shark turned off. I don't know why. Hop level shark, 445.47. So that's why the pause. Just like 424 and 387. The yellow dot you see on the Qs, that's not valid until Friday. All right. Yeah, we are trying to get a complex formation out of here too. So this is fairly interesting. Maybe we go into a pause here off of 445 for now. I went into this last week extensively. Our target, 445 was an objective, an important step in the process, and now 1618 at 5 is the only thing. So you pause here, fine. Couple of weeks, maybe. And then we're going to continue. I mean, really, even if we do a couple of weeks here, once we break out above 445, it's pretty clear. A lot like Bitcoin, it's 445 and then it's 510. Evan's saying you're counter trading yourself. You refuse to short BTC. Yeah, I mean, look, BTC is going to pull back. You're going to have corrections along the way, but the larger trend is doing everything that we said. Just like the major markets too, the Qs, the SPY, Nasdaq, the diamonds. I mean, since October, since we were talking about this down here in October, it's been spot on. And we said, with the patterns that we had, oh, actually, it was this October on the daily. It was like this. Okay, we were looking for off of that oversold dot, and it's just been a burner ever since. And it's going to continue. Pause along the way, but look, that is a strong uptrend, and you're still going to have days where you pull back within that uptrend. You need to. Many of these have not provided much more than a short-term 2-3 day pause. Like here's the 4-hour HSI situation with the deep crab pattern. That's what was capping it before at 433. We covered this last week, and now you're oversold again. So get ready. Like, I'm not worried about today. I'm looking for this to pivot out and set up for that next move in the same way that we have been talking about on every 4-hour continuation signal for the last month, many months. This one's a little even more enticing because of this complex structure right here. This M formation and amplified. Okay, you're going down. You went all the way to the oversold. HSI oversold. Can you pivot out of there, please? Because then that would set up not only the HSI, but then your amplified reading would have to go back and all the way go back to retest the zone, much like it did back here. In doing so, that's how you get your next leg. We're looking for the next leg. Yeah, it could rally by 4 o'clock. Nasdaq's down 300, but don't really care. Probably an opportunity. I mean, look at the stuff that's been running. Let's do Nvidia for 850. I mean, people are only considering, they're looking at big shiny numbers. So 1,000 on Nvidia. I think that's the 3618 is the 3618 on Nvidia is like 980 or something off of this. Yeah, it's a parabolic move. 314 hasn't even been hit yet. That's like shy of 900. 3618 off of the last year's decline. Yeah, it's 1,000. It's 1,000. Or remember Super Micro, SMCI, hello. Add that to the S&P 500, you get stuff like that. But I want to go to real signals. Like here's Broadcom. I brought this up. I want to watch this. We have a daily HSI high level, and I mentioned this as one way to start picking off these that have run insanely, but how can we get on these at a high level like that? 1285 on Broadcom. I'm impressed. AMD down today, but weekly time frame, we had a pattern up here, blew through that top level at 184. So that will continue. I'm impressed, really impressed. We didn't look at the SPY yet. SPY at the 113. But it's a larger 1618. And we covered this last week. 565. Yeah, again, SPY is in full CD leg acceleration of that deep crab. Your 507. I mean, look at like, just break it down on a hourly or 4 hour. Sorry, 4 hour. Next set of HSI coming up. I mean, you want this. Let this come down. And we also have another complex formation. But at least now we've got HSI oversold. So I'm thinking you're looking for this thing to turn around by tomorrow. Little pause. But the whole plan for how we get from where we are or where we've been up to those 1618 levels is to hone in on those days where we are there in the oversold zone. Okay, now we're looking for that pivot out. Looking for thinking of ahead too. We're oversold. It's the same way as if we were back there in mid-February, mentally getting ready for the next leg up. So we're down here. Let's let it settle it out because we're looking for that next leg. Takes us into the end of the month, earnings into early April. Last signal was like 2 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks ago. We get a signal, puts ahead 2 or 3 weeks. Where are you? So a lot going on here. I definitely want to look for this afternoon. And it might take, like I said, overnight into tomorrow, but just let it happen. Look for one of these little triangles. Want to make it easy? Look for that, or that, or that, or that. Just in the last 6 weeks, we had 4 signals. We're about to get a 5th one literally in the next 24, 48 hours on S&P 500 that then sets us up for continuation move into next week. Meanwhile, run the rest with, run the rest back on all of them. I mean, all your favorites. One or two that are like, for me, that are sticking out. Like Google has pulled back. And now Google on the 4-hour, check it out. Okay, giving you connect the dots. Even off the, there's a bat pattern on the 4-hour. Even when you want to go off of December, but we're getting a really nice corrective move. If that's a bat pattern, you get back to like 120, 125 for Google, it would be a massive bat. And it could happen pretty quickly. I mean, I think this stuff's getting overlooked within all the craziness, and we had some patterns right at the top there. We had some patterns up there. But every bearish pattern has been a temporary kind of pullback, and so use that pattern. Let's start looking at it. There's the weekly. And that might be the best big tech back-to-back. Let's say Google goes shark to 5.0 here. This would be a significant opportunity at 119. It's getting close. It drops in and something happens where market pulls back a little bit for a few days. You're setting up textbook weekly opportunities on stuff like that, or the other one that I brought up recently was Cisco. These are big tech names. Have yet to do, they're not doing massive moves. They're not NVIDIA, but there's Cisco, yellow dot. Come on, here's Deep Crab right off the top. Did the type 1 reaction. There's the type 2 retest. So a lot of things to be looking at. A lot of things to be looking at. I don't, we don't need to chase. And this can get a lot of fun with our green Satoshi coins. But, I just think let's line up the patterns like this all over the place. Okay. You guys, Mitch is here. Hey, what's up, Mitch? Mitch, we're on for Thursday, right? I told them beginning. Yeah, IP, International Paper. Yeah, I was looking at Kimberly-Clark too. And Mitch, it's a great point, because who's looking at International Paper right now? Nobody. And look at the bat. Software is generating a weekly. That's a beauty, man. That's beautiful. And with those, your risk is somewhat subdued, quite frankly. Old economy, nobody's looking at there yet, but once this market really starts to broaden out later in the year, they're coming for the likes of that. That's a nice one. Kimberly-Clark was the other one I was looking at. KMB. Doesn't seem like much. Shark to 5.0 on the weekly, but it's a daily. Here you go. Daily bat pattern right now. And these don't have to be anything really spectacular other than just do simple type 1 long-term reaction. You go from this 120, 124, 133 to 138. That's, you're not asking a lot, and it's a pretty smooth move. Nice one, Mitch. Got a lot there. I mean, it is a type 2 crab, but I like those because that actually reminds me of Coca-Cola. Remember that from many months ago, right at the low? It was a weekly type 2 Gartley on that one. There you go. But clear as day. I mean, really doesn't need to be a monster 3x, 5x. Hey, we just need degree of certainty of profitability from 52 to 60. Pretty clear for the way we framed that one out. But there are a lot of these, so I encourage folks to not just get locked into just the crypto or tech. The one I'll share is Nike, where Nike is trying to, where'd you go? Where's the pattern? It's a bat pattern right here. Not the prettiest of ones, but I'm looking down in this zone every time we get to 97. 105 to 97. I'm looking at that. I'm looking for progress here because of really what happened in October too. Longer term, that doesn't seem like it's doing much, except for sitting on a, essentially what is a 10, 15-year trend line. So, that's worth a look. That's worth a look. If this thing is going to just kind of ride that trend line, of course, you're going to challenge it a few times, but can we do something like, come down, challenge it, make our way back up, and then start that kind of a thing? There's a number of these. Nike's just an example. There's probably better patterns. But longer term, these ones that have really kind of languished. Here's one. Target. Hello. Target did it. Remember Target? Up huge today. 166. That's what I'm talking about when I say these kind of moves. So these kind of stocks are again, entertain these type of opportunities. Pretty remarkable stuff. Any takes on Chinese stocks? No take. Literally, like I'm not a taker. And I don't want to play those. I think there's better stuff. Mitch is saying Under Armour. Sure. Look at that massive shark on the weekly. Nice. Yeah, probably take some time, but once that gets out of that hole, oh look, yeah, there was even, you see this, there's two patterns there on Under Armour. That could just take a while though, but you get out of that, set that thing free. That's a long-termer that you got to be patient on it. Bunch of these. Hey, I do want to, got to give the proper respect to the gold market. When I think about the gold market, I think about some old-time trader guys that I used to know that always said, gold's going to 5,000. Gold's going to 5,000. Well, you get above 2170, and that's about it. I think you're already there. I mean, I think what you have to look at this on a super long-term chart. And that is about as strong of a breakout move formation. And you go back with a 20-year, you're in a 20-year uptrend here, folks. And you go to the quarterly gold chart futures. This is the only possibility I've got. AB. CD. 50% to a 2.0. I mean, now. You're going to break out. You're finally going to set that free above 2150. That you run that gap to 2800. And this whole 4-year, 5-year pause Over. I'm impressed with this. Gold has quietly snuck up on all of us to say, hey, what about me? I really want a little love. So gold to 2,700. Parker's going to love that, right? Parker's going to be selling ounces of gold for 2,700. Anybody that knows Parker knows what I'm talking about. Hey, I mean, you'll be proven. The gold bugs will be proven. They'll be proven correct. And the reason why that they will be so correct is that they never went through a full 88.6% reset in their career. Ever since the dot-com blow up and then the financial crisis sealed the deal for gold because of, that was the birth of modern monetary theory, MMT. If you didn't know it yet, we are in MMT already. It's kind of like phase one. We're probably about to go phase two of MMT where they're just going to print money. And that's why I think that when I see charts like this and all the other stuff that we looked at today, recent months, the past year, we have to be thinking from now to the end of the decade. And it's something that I wish I did early in my career. I wish like in 1996 or 7, I was really thinking about 2005 or 2010 and how, all the shenanigans, what was happening at that point would lead to higher equity prices. And we're in the same boat, if not on an accelerated scale. And when I see gold doing stuff like that, I mean, you have to go back for gold. The equivalent breakout stage is all the way back here. You go back to 2005. That's the kind of breakout gold is doing right now. And I'm dare I say, gold, if you're putting it in terms of the breakout stage, it's like that before that kind of a move. Gold at 500 before it goes to 1,700. Yeah, Mitch is right. It's telling us about destroyed purchasing power. And I agree. Look, it's not fair. But it's happening. So you have a choice, and that's why folks are here to learn about markets and about owning assets. That's what Bitcoin's about. QQQ, SPY, all of this stuff. It's either own assets or get owned. Because if you're going to be dealing in dollars, you see what's happening. I agree with that. And Mitch, you made a great comment last night. I mean, I was kind of checking you. Mitch was on 10 hours last night, and I was kind of trailing you off and on for most of the time. But you said something great where the DXY and the falling dollar purchasing power over the last couple of decades is the real reason why these markets are going up. And I agree with that because a friend of mine, guy, he's a TA legend. His name is Paul Desmond. He's long since passed. He won the MTA award for Sign of the Bear paper he wrote. And he basically analyzed only operating companies with operating earnings, those companies that actually made money, not companies like mutual fund companies or things that actually had operating earnings of making things. And his argument is that fact about market prices going up mostly because of a declining dollar has been true since 2008, since that peak. And he had, I have to get his partner on. I got to contact her because she could explain it so much better than I could. But, and essentially, the gains of the last 10, 15 years have been, are due to mostly the money supply, inflation. So, doesn't matter. You go with it. And we're looking at the dollar. Hey, if the dollar turns down here, there's a monthly should be following this closely. Yeah, there's a crab pattern. This is a type 2 up at 105. So we need to watch dollar. We do have an oversold trigger, but maybe that just pauses up here. I'm watching this closely. Okay, dollar starts breaking down under 103, 102. That's how then we really see things to move. Something like that, because there's type 1. And again, that's a monthly, amazing monthly. You did the type 1. We still need to do the 2 down to target 2. Could that happen? Absolutely. Get the dollar down to 83. Could you imagine? Can you imagine if that goes to a target 2? That would be insanity. Remember, at the low here, I keep forgetting what we had down there at the low. We had some patterns at the low there. But this is happening now. Folks, it's happening. This has been kind of our argument all along. We've been really sizing this up, and it's worked out better than I think we could have expected within how we look at pattern framework, the targets, even with confirmation. Things are just unfolding in ideal fashion. So let's stick with that. I mean, you circle back here. Where do we go? Bitcoin down 3,800. Great. Because I think you're going to want Bitcoin to drop if you wanted to get more before we do a full price discovery mode. Because that's what it is. You're on the verge of a price discovery, and it doesn't look back. I mean, I do think we are really similar to where we were. You go back to 2020. Go back there October 2020. It's impressive stuff. And I'm happy to see it. I think the whole Bitcoin complex, though, folks, like as I said when I started, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, you have to consider these as well, of doing larger things. After the big moves from the last 2 weeks, give it some time. But the larger phenomenon, especially if Bitcoin blasts now, and I mean even the next month, you could sit here for 3-4 weeks, doesn't matter. I'm happy to see this. You know, this kind of sets up for everything that we talked about for the year, where yeah, I'm quite pleased. I don't again, couldn't ask for a much better scenario than to be above the 886 before the halving. Let's just I'm going to cut it there, guys. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to cut it there. Leave it on the pretty picture of Bitcoin. We'll be back on Thursday, 12 noon. Listen, hit subscribe so you get the notifications. Mitch will be with us. We'll get into it, full discussion. Everyone else, get with the software. That's where it all begins. Free trial. Please take the free trial, especially for all the new folks. Send your username, TradingView username, to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Take the free trial first. And there will be a promotion. We'll talk about that on Thursday for the upcoming March pre-halving webinar. So that's great. Listen, come on Thursday. Until then, enjoy, pace yourself. We got a lot to look forward to. As always, go get them. See you next time.